We want to welcome Chuck Todd with NBC's Meet the Press. Chuck, always good to see you.
Happy to talk to you, Charles.
All right, let me start with the big national story today. The president seems to be having a roaring economy. The numbers are looking good. The economy is working well, and a robust debate right now on trade. What carries us? What is the big story going into November?
Well, look, I think it's going to be the impact on trade and the trade war with China rather than the economic. I mean, look, the fact is the good news for the president is the strong economic growth numbers provide a little bit of padding for what has inevitably already been a harmful trade war to at least some farmers in places like Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. These tariffs, these ag tariffs have an immediate impact. The metal tariffs, the ones on steel, the impact can actually be postponed for a good 6 or 8 months down the road. So I think the ag tariffs are having a real impact at an important and critical moment. I mean, the president's base, you could argue, is, as far as the Midwest is concerned, are in the more rural parts of all of those states where the farms actually exist. And if they're demoralized because they're unhappy with the trade war, they're sitting there on one hand, they say the economy is humming, but you're putting a handcuff on me to be able to participate in this humming economy because you put a tariff. You created a trade war with China. So I think the president has to fear a demoralized rural Midwestern vote in November because of the trade war. No amount of happy talk on the economy is going to comfort those farmers who right now are taking a hit in their own wallets.
Yeah, and he's already hearing that from Republican Senator Ron Johnson, who's saying, look, there could be permanent damage here. Let me go back to talk about a state issue here. You have a new poll out with NBC, the Marist poll. It kind of shows that Governor Walker, who's looking for a third term here, the Republican, could be in trouble. And then the Democratic Senator, Tammy Baldwin, looks pretty strong at this point. Does that speak to a potential blue wave?
It could, but we'll see. I mean, you know, Wisconsin, look, I think you and I both know this. Republicans always look weak in the summer. They get real strong in the fall. I'm old enough to remember when Ron Johnson was being written off in the summer of 16, in September of 16, and then suddenly, guess who won re-election?
Exactly.
So Scott Walker's been written off before. There's no doubt there's a pattern here, right? Republican unrest inside, I think, and there's certainly more headwinds than Scott Walker's ever faced before. But because of the pattern of basically summer doldrums in the past for Wisconsin Republicans, look, I think he's trying to win a 4th statewide race. Yes, it's his 3rd term, but a 4th one if you throw in the recall.
Correct.
I think that's extraordinarily difficult. I've still been shocked he decided to run for re-election. I think he is the underdog. I'd be surprised if it's a double-digit underdog, though.
All right, he's Chuck Todd. You can see him this Sunday on Meet the Press. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
You got it, Charles.